Norman, nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me here. Hello.
Thank you for saying yes. You started your career or your music adventures also in the 90s in Berlin. One thing that is always interesting is 1989, wall came down. What do you remember about that year and after the before the wall and the after the wall?
I was 16 at the time when the wall came down, and it was at the time in a city which is really close to Berlin, called Bernau. Yeah, this is where I learned that the wall came down. Another guy from the boarding house came in and said, "Have you heard the news?" We said, "What news?" "The wall is open." And I said, "Come on, you're kidding us. That's not true." So, but it turned out that it was basically true, and yeah, it was a very exciting time. So, lots of things changed. And for my generation, I think it was exactly the right time for this big change. So I guess there were people who had it much heavier to get used to the new circumstances and lost their jobs and lost completely what they were used to. But for us, it was really the start.
Yeah. Wow. Of a lot of freedom and a lot of new things happening and
Yes.
possibilities. Yeah.
So for instance, before we couldn't, I mean, it's not the main thing in life, but for us it was a very interesting part that we were listening to radio, we're taping the titles that were cool to us, and it was not a way just to go to a record store and buy the single or whatever. It was just not possible. So, but then after that, things changed in that direction. That was but just one small part of the big change which came with the new era.
Yeah. In music specifically, for example, you were 16, so probably not so much, but were you already going to parties, clubs, events with music at that time?
Not really. I mean, I was always interested in new music, but I cannot say that I went to super cool underground techno clubs when I was 16. That's not true. So, but I started very soon, when I was 18, and went to clubs Turbine, Wiener Straße, the Old Tresor, and later then the E-Werk. That was what I explained before our interview. That was just, I did not live actually in Berlin, but it was always really closed.
Yeah.
We listened to the radio from Berlin. We went to Berlin to buy cool clothes, to buy records, to go to clubs. And yeah, that was possible then. And yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Yes, and I've read in another interview that you started organizing parties, I think it was 1994, somewhere around that time. Were you at that time DJing already or not?
Not really, no, because I was a pupil and then a student, and I didn't have much money, so I tried to save some money and buy some records, but that was at the time maybe 3 or 4 or 5 when it was pretty well, and not more. So I didn't have a big record collection, and even less I had the possibilities to buy 2 Technics and a proper mixer. So this came step by step. So I tried to, or we organized parties, and from the money I earned with it, so I bought first the first turntable, and after a time the second one. So it took a while, and I was trying to mix and to practice, but I would say yeah, it took me a while before I would consider myself as a DJ. So I was a record collector, and I was interested in music, and I was going to parties, and I listened to the stuff the other DJs played, and yeah, it was a big aim to be like this, to be able to mix records, and yeah.
Yeah, and that came later. So were you organizing parties? Were you a promoter in a way, organizer?
Yeah, but it's also the time what people say about Berlin too. There were no big restrictions, so lots of people could just do their thing, and no one watched. There was no police, or there was a police, but they left us alone in a way, and you don't have trouble with like financial authorities. And yeah, it was very very basic, like in for instance in just a pub in a village, and they have there's it's very typical that they have like their pub, and then also for bigger festivities a big room. And yeah, we just asked one of the pub owners, like, can we do a techno party? And he said, okay, so you get the entrance fee and I get the drinks. And this is how it went. Like we came across with like camouflage, like tartan nets and whatever, and just did it. And I just, in preparation of our talk, I tried to find something on the internet, but it was really the time before that. That's why I'm not really able to say at this and that day there was a very first party with this and that the guest DJ. So I cannot say. But I remember like we tried to invite first the DJs we knew from Berlin, like and also staff from record stores, Hardwax, and also back in the days there was Delirium record store, and there were DJs who also worked there as like shop assistants, and so this is how the contacts came, and it was now a big booking agency discussion. It was like, do you have time on the next Saturday to come by and play? Well, okay, and then handshake, and then it was done. Anyway, and also like the names got a bit bigger, and like we were really proud to have some guests like which no one of us could have thought that they would play in this kind of environment, in this pub, but they did, and it was really big fun back in the day. In the days, yes.
And guests were coming also from abroad at that time, not from Germany, not from Berlin, from other countries as well.
Not really. Like the most of the like almost every DJ was based in Berlin, so it was much easier to get them to play it for us. But we once had one guy from Chicago playing for us, and it was also a very special experience. It was very simple to organize it, not much simpler than we thought it would be. But I guess especially for him, it was a very special thing just to. And I think he was not told that it's not actually Berlin, but it will be in the suburbs, or like in the area. And he was really surprised and scared in the car when we left like the city. And he said, where are we going to? No, to the place where the party will be. Oh, I wasn't told so. Like that. It was a bit weird. Like there were some crazy stories, but yeah, in the end it was a great party, and he had fun, and
And do you have any memory that comes to mind, or any very happy memory of those years, of parties you organized or parties you attended from these years?
Yeah, there were many special moments, like when you heard like those DJs you admired from Berlin clubs, for like Tresor or E-Werk, and they came to play at your party, and there was a big thing going on, and people went crazy. There was something that made you proud and very, very happy. So
yeah. And one thing that kept coming up when I was researching more about you was you became friends. You met Marcel Detman and Marcel Fengler as well at some point. How did you meet both of them?
I mean, we come from the same area, you can say. Like, and there were not so many people who were interested in techno. So there was a scene, and everybody knew those who were also going to E-Werk at the weekends or to Tresor, and this was the way how you got to know each other.
Yeah.
And that's why like Marcel, like Detman, like he learned that we were throwing parties in this pub, and also like later in a students club in Frankfurt Oder. He played there, and did a brilliant job, and as we all know, he developed like later super successfully. So it was,
Super interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
And so you were part of the same circle of people eventually, and you started inviting Marcel Detman to your parties. You started playing, and then you became friends, and you had a relationship in that sense.
Yeah, like that. And he also started with doing like a little record store in his hometown, and so we had lots of connections. Yeah.
Did you work? Maybe I'm mistaking the person. Did you work at Hardworks at some point?
That was later
Later.
when he worked there. I
Okay.
think, yeah.
Yeah. And correct me if this is wrong, but I've read also you mentor them in a way. You help them develop.
That's what he says, and I'm very glad he tells the story. And but what can I say? It's like
Humble. Did you personally have people who helped you when you were starting off DJing and eventually producing? Did you have someone that would support you, teach you, show you stuff?
like I mean, friends who like began to produce earlier and who showed me stuff like how to work with Logic or later with Ableton. And yeah, I got those friends like, and at the beginning was André Lodemann, who is more in this house business. Yeah, but we're close friends, and he showed me like things how to arrange tracks and stuff like that. But specifically as a DJ, I mean, yeah, I was in contact with other DJs who worked as I told you in Hardways and Delirium, and we became kind of friends, and we helped each other in a way, or they helped me like getting them, or they had like useful hints for records. Yeah, but I could not say that there was a kind of mentor for me who said like you have to do this and that, and you have to pay attention on this aspect, and there was no such person for me.
Yeah. You developed more like on your own with time.
I would say so.
And in 2005, you became eventually one of the Bergen residents. And what do you remember? How did that came about? And your first sets in Bergen, do you remember what it was back then compared to today?
Yeah, it came like Marcel, who was also in the Osgood, a resident DJ. He just called me one day and said, okay, the guys from Osgood will open a new club soon, and they're looking for guys who play there as a DJ. And I brought your name up, but they want to listen to a tape. I said, okay, I record a tape. So I sent, I don't know if I gave it to him or at the end, like one of the owners, Michael, who listened to the tape, and he invited me, like, and it was really wild, like, okay, so like a job interview. And I said, okay, yeah, let's try it, he said, like, and then like the first 2 or 3 times I always did the opening, and he just was there, and he was listening it, and after it we were talking about like how he found it and what he would wish that I would do differently maybe, or like really assessment in a way. But then after a few times he said, okay, I leave you alone, you know how it's done. So and this is how it started.
Wow. Yeah. And in terms of the crowd and the vibe, I mean, compared to today, what do you see are the main differences back then and today?
Yeah, today it's the times are completely different. Like back in the days, it was like you had 3 DJs, then one did the opening, one was in the prime time, and then there was the closing DJ. And closing meant like it ended at noon or maybe 2 p.m. on a Sunday and not on a Monday. And that was sufficient, and it was pretty super, and also very extra compared to the stuff we knew before. And in my perception, I think it was a bit more colorful back in the days. Like you had more, like there was a transvestite or more colorful people. And I don't want to whine and say stuff that the old days were better, but for me it was more easygoing in a way. Today it's I love it too, and I see like it's getting kind of easier these days again after this marching period. So there was a time when I said, okay, I like when people move and dance and look to each other and dance with the others around them and not marching towards the DJ. So so I think now it's getting better and better these days. So but let's see how things develop further.
Yeah. When you mentioned that now, I think it makes me think of Panorama Bar compared to Bergen main floor, which is Panorama Bar has a lot of this more vibe. You look at each other, people are open, colorful. Bergen is very in the zone. A lot of people just look at the DJ or in front of them, and they don't interact so much with each other. So interesting for me to see the difference with Panorama, where it's more open, similar to what you were describing before. At that time, was Panorama already open?
It was earlier open than Berghain itself. So they started in December 2000 or November 2004, if I remember correctly, and Berghain opened a little later.
Okay.
So
interesting. And in terms of your music, how you prepare your sets, for example, how do you select the tracks? Do you go record stores still?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, especially when I play Berghain, I go to Hardwax before that, and I'm digging for new stuff, and I listen to tons of promo stuff, and sometimes, like if you hear a new record and there's a record store or a promo which attracts you, then something comes up in your mind. I said, okay, this old track would match to this track very well, so I dig it out and take it with me to the next gig, and like this in a way. Like for me, it's very important to get new stuff, new input, new records. Also take old records with me, which I think match the vibe.
And do you tend to prepare the set, or at least have some kind of sequence that you want to play throughout the set, or you go completely free depending on what the vibe is on the floor?
Something in the middle, I would say. Like, of course, like when I prepare playlists, when I play digitally, which I do mostly when I go abroad, of course, then you have like the new stuff, and normally you load it on your USB stick because you want to play it. But it's not like that I say, okay, I have this gig at this and that club, and I will play this as first, there's a second. No, not that. That's not going to happen. So, and sometimes like I go to the club and I don't know which track I will start, and it depends on like how the mood is, how the people are, what the DJ before me plays, and I see okay, and then I decide like literally moments before I start.
There was something you mentioned in an interview where once you played the Editor Papillon, which is for me one of my favorite tracks ever. And you played it in a moment that it felt maybe wasn't right. People started moving away, but you had to re-get back people. What do you remember about that night?
Yeah, I mean this special moment when people just, I mean, as a DJ you dig records and you think, oh, this is a super cool track and the people will love it, and I feel it and people have to feel it too, and mostly it works. But this time it did absolutely not. So it was the wrong track in the wrong moment. So it was really crazy. So I had such high expectations what would happen on the floor, and I said, oh, so it's not working. So what can I do? So I mixed in another track, and I draw the people back on the floor. So I cannot say which the next track was, but unfortunately this track did not work.
I mean,
I cannot explain. So why that was the very wrong track for this very special moment.
But I mean, that's it. Unforeseeable. It happens all the time, so it's good to.
So luckily this happens not so often. But I as I said, like as I mentioned it in an interview before, this was one moment like I will remember. Like, so I was completely wrong.
And when you play, for example, or you produce, do you feel, what are you trying to communicate? Is it your emotions? Is it ideas? Something else?
I mean, producing is completely different from DJing. So DJing, I'm in the moment. Like I see and feel what happens on the floor, and I interact with it. Um, and there's no recipe. So this is yeah very from feelings and intuitive and yeah. But when I sit on the computer, I don't have like the feedback. So I just have myself and my thoughts and my ideas and my reaction to what I hear when I do stuff. And I think, oh, this sounds good. So and let's go towards this direction, or let's cut it. It's not good. Let's start from the scratch. Yeah, this is completely different, and it's really hard to compare.
Yeah.
So.
In talking about your production specifically, what's your process? Do you draw? Do you do anything during the week to bring inspiration that then you can translate into music, or it's very free flow?
Yeah. So I more or less I sit on the computer with I can say Ableton Live, and then I just do experiments with samples, for instance. And it's like if someone asks me to do a remix, then I have material I start with, and this is also completely different than doing an own track. And so I start with loops and sounds and try to find something that makes them sound special and move me. And if it's not working, so then I end it.
Yeah. It sounds like you need to connect with the music you're making yourself. Once you feel emotion that for you is right, it's like you're going in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you work on music every day, every week? No.
Every week? No. I mean, I listen to tons of music, and maybe it influences also the way I produce, because you're not living in a vacuum. And but it's very intuitive. Like when I feel like, okay, I have to sit down and make some music, then I do it. But it's very different. Like sometimes I do it a whole week, and sometimes I don't touch the music producing stuff for a month or so.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I wanted to ask you about is you balance also another job, which is, and you're a lawyer, you have your own company, with playing and producing as well. Did you find your balance? For you, are these things completely compatible, or sometimes you have to make hard decisions?
Not so much. I mean, it's you have to find a balance, and it's about like being focused and organized, and then it works. So it was not. I mean, it was not like these two things showed up instantly, and I had to figure out how to deal with it. I mean, it grew. Like first I studied and collected records and started with my parties, and then I was more into my lawyer job, and then I started DJing again when I became resident DJ of Berghain, which was once a month or maybe or 2 months, and then it became more. So it gave me the chance to find ways to connect it, and being focused and say, okay, I cannot, for instance, when I go to parties, but this was never my kind of partying to get drunk or to use drugs, just to try is to stay clear. And and this is what I try to, what I do in both jobs, like to be very analytic and also with feelings and reactive. And these are two completely different words, but I see parallels, and so it's not so super stressful to combine it for me.
I find it very interesting. I mean, for me personally, it's the same for me, and I think it's fascinating that you found your balance, and for you, your very open that these are two parts of your life. It's not two different Normans. It's like the same life, same person. You just have different activities. Do you ever get outside pressure, comments from people that say, oh, this is impossible, the two things are too different? How do you do it?
No, it's more like people asking me how you do that, how you combine, and then I give them similar answers as they did to you. And like negative feedback in a way, okay, if you are a DJ, you cannot be a good lawyer, or the other way around, I didn't get until now. So it's fine,
You have your own company with another partner, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was first because he's now over 70, and I became like his partner in it's 24 years ago in 2000. Yeah, so this also grew in a way.
Yeah, very cool. And do you enjoy the work?
I guess in every job you have days where you love it, where you go devoted to your office, to your factory, whatever. And there are days when you don't feel super glad with the outcome of cases, or like when you're stressed by certain like lawsuits, or but these things happen, but I know these phases will be over next week or tomorrow, so it doesn't rock me, like it's nothing crucial, so it's just a bad day, and then life goes on.
Yeah, you move on. Yeah, because probably you are convinced that it's the right choice for you. You're happy.
Yeah.
When you look at your productions, for example, moving back to the music job, do you tend to have a release plan of, okay, I have this music that now I'm sitting on, I want to release it, or it's for you it's more natural to just make it? When it's made, you think, okay, I might release it on someone's label or put it out?
Yeah, more like this. So it's a different thing when you have like remix requests, because they mostly have a deadline. They want to have like the result within a certain time span. But apart from that, like I do it as I like to, and then I'm thinking of like get in contact with persons who might be interested in releasing it, or they ask me like, do we want to do a contribution for our like release, like now for Conceptual, for the anniversary release. Yeah, and there was also kind of deadline. So
yeah, when you have to do it, they ask you.
Yeah.
And I read another article or interview you released that you were saying, I don't feel any sort of pressure of having to make music by a certain point. And for artists who are making music, who are feeling a lot of pressure and that is kind of destroying them, do you have any suggestions? How can they regain peace of mind?
I think it's I cannot give advice for everyone, because I mean I'm in a completely different situation. Like I'm not so much dependent on a certain income by DJing somewhere. So it's a different situation. Like for persons who really have their whole career built on music, and they of course have some other pressure to handle than me in this regard, and I cannot give advice. I mean, you cannot compare it. So, but apart from that, you can, like, in general, like if you push too hard, it will not lead to good results. But I mean, everyone has to find his own path in this direction, and see what's best for him. And
it might take time as well. For other people. And lately, what is attracting your attention? Are there new artists that you have recently discovered, new threads of music?
So it's very, very hard to name this or that artist or DJ or producer, because there are too many to name. But in general, I can say, I mean, I'm always listening to new music. I go to record stores. I hear DJs playing, and there are like always new highlights. And I say, okay, so this release really convinced me, and I will watch out for new releases from this or that producer, and it mostly pays out. I would say like I'm not like I'm not in a bubble in my own bubble. I'm connected with lots of people, and they influence me, and I listen to music, and it forms my taste too. So it's it's kind of a natural process.
So I mean, you go to record shops, events, night out. You get promos, most likely. You get people that send you music. Do you develop relationships with these producers, other people that are sending you music sometimes? For example, do you ask them, send me more your unreleased stuff? Or not? You just wait for the release to be out?
No, I mean, there are like people who are very open and who want to send you like unreleased stuff to hear it, and I mean, then you listen to it, and you give them feedback, and there are some relationships are developing like this, and like I have other producers who I'm in contact with, and we exchange, and of course
Do you I don't know if you have these conversations, but do you feel that what are the main challenges that producers are having in this moment? One thing that I always think about is promoting themselves for new emerging producers to find a way to reach their audience. A lot of people don't like social media so much, so they need to find alternatives. Do you have any ideas, any suggestions that people can explore?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you like, you have DJs who want to sound like, I don't know, Dex J, Kobuzil, and then they will do this kind of music. And if they find like their followers, and then this will work out. But I cannot say if this is the music they really want to do from the within, from their feelings, and but yeah, some people who make really super nice music, in which they really feel are not successful. So it's really hard to say like you must do it like this or that, or you have to follow your instincts. Because it can be you make super nice music, and some people like me will really appreciate it, but they will not be commercially successful. So it's hard to say what is the best way, like to like be super active on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I think it's for unfortunately, I would say, like for new artists, it's you cannot do it without this social media stuff. So it's almost impossible, because it's a fact that if you're not on the screen, then it's really hard to be recognized just for your music, just for your productions.
It is very hard.
It's
a problem, and it's a constant topic of discussion with
of course.
But for people to find their own voice and whatever, trusting themselves, gaining confidence in the music they're making, is there anything that helped you in your path with production, for example?
I mean, I was really lucky to say it like this, that I had like Ostguton, and then I had Marcel with MDR Records, who were really open and very welcoming the music I made. So, in the end, you have to find your style in a way. It's not. I mean, this is a thing when I listen to promos. It very often happens. I say this is well produced. It's good stuff in a way. And if this would have been released 5 years ago, it would be a huge hit. But now it's one among 1,000 tracks, and it doesn't stand out. So it's well produced, but I don't need it, so I will not play it. So and find a certain way just to have your own like sound, your own like, but it's difficult, I guess.
Very
So
difficult.
not trying to sound like any other artist. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't have a secret recipe for that. It's really really
for sure.
hard.
Pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be original and fresh, or
Yes.
because I think everybody eventually looks at other DJs or producers to get inspiration.
Yeah, this is totally fine.
Yeah.
That you hear other DJs and you say this is my role model or whatever, and I like the way he does music.
Yeah.
But although try to make your own stuff, your own handwriting. You know?
For your own production, have you gone through this moment of you were inspired by other producers within techno, for example, and then you found, okay, this is what I like, but this is the way I want to approach my music. So to find your way to be unique in a way. Was it a conscious thought process, or it just happened naturally for you?
I think it's more the second. Like it's I of course I had like also producers which were really influential, but not in a way that I would try to like make a version of their productions. And I was always trying to have sounds which are really different, and which is and I mean, it makes also producing very hard. Like if you wanna do something different, which although is like not too arty farty, and it's a difficult thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes more time. You probably need to try more things.
Yeah,
until-
sometimes it takes more time, but sometimes you have also these moments where you just have it, and then this is it, and then
that works.
Yeah, it works.
Do you work with other people that help you feeling when a track is ready or good enough to be released, or you trust your own instinct?
It's more that, I mean, I have my sound guy who I send my music to, and he gives it a little more, or he mixes it again, and then it sounds clearer and better. But apart from this, so I rely on myself. Like this is the final version, and that's it.
What drives you in life in general? Not just music-wise, but when you look at your life.
Yeah, being balanced, like trying to find a way to feel good. Try to be a good person, try to be friendly, collecting karma points. In a way, yeah. So eat healthy stuff, do sports, be kind to your family, your friends, other people, and
If you have a full day where you cannot work, you cannot do your lawyer job, you cannot make music, anything related to music, how would you spend your day?
take a long walk, watch a TV show, like normal things.
Nice.
Like, but yeah, I have this I had this discussion recently with friends. Like it's very hard to really enjoy such a day, because we are like trained in a way like you have to do something useful.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you cannot just do nothing for a day, because you could like make your tax declaration, you could do this and that. You have to learn like really like just to do nothing for a day. This is really an art in a way. It's not so easy.
Do you make, for example, like your weekly schedule is quite busy. Do you have assigned time? Okay, this is me time. I only take care of myself. I do sport.
Now, I try to do sport every day, or at least every second day. But apart from this, I don't have, like, as you say, me time in a way. But I like to, in German we say trödeln, like just do things slowly. So I get up early, and I don't like it just to get up and get breakfast and get out of the flat and run to work. So I get up early and I just do it very slowly and take my time, and This is what I really like. So also like in the evening when I come home and just do things slowly and sit on the couch and
Yeah. I think that slow us down a lot.
yeah.
The way we do things, even simpler things. Yeah. And that's another thing that I think I've started appreciating a lot about Berlin, for example. I used to live in London before, and where everything is, you rush the entire day, you wake up from the
in
moment.
London compared to Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
London is super fast, and you have your days are completely stacked up with meeting activity until the moment you go to sleep for the entire week. In Berlin, I started appreciating more because of people around me. You can take your time. You don't need to have blocked every single 15-minute slot of your life. You can wake up, have breakfast for 30 minutes. It's okay. It makes a huge difference as well. I think also for artists to have more time to think and explore and experience life.
Yeah.
So one thing or project you are excited about for the near future, something is coming for you, music-wise.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for like some shows we have with the Chromanti agency, my booking agency, RDE. Then we have a show in Liverpool. So, and I have a exciting gig in Mexico City, for instance. Music-wise, I'm looking forward for the official release of the conceptual compilation, which is really promising. Yeah, things like that.
So you're producing a lot this time of your life. You finding time to be in a studio?
It depends. Sometimes it's every day in a week, and then I don't do anything for a month. And so good you mentioned it. I have to start again. So I'm a bit lazy right now when it comes to producing, but I'm on it.
Yeah, perfect. Looking forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
And we have last question we ask everybody. What question do you think we should ask the next guest without knowing who they're gonna be?
So where have they been during their last vacation? So what was the question your last guest had for me or for the next guest?
It's a deep question, and is, are you happy with the choices that you made in your life?
Absolutely.
Perfect. It's a very nice way to end a great conversation. Thank you for being with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.